Israeli missiles continue to rain down on the Palestinian territories in Gaza. A ceasefire was brokered, but just after a few hours, airstrikes resumed. Over 200 Palestinians have been killed in the violence. Hamas has rejected Egypt's calls for a ceasefire, as the Israeli government is set to launch a large-scale land offensive. In the Strasbourg hemicycle, MEPs were divided over what should be done.
The Israeli missiles are launched randomly, launched to cause, without any concern for saving civilian population, and it looks like indeed Israel does expressly to actually cause a maximum suffering in innocent populations such as children and relatives of the Hamas leaders that it is supposed to be targeting.
We now have a situation of Gaza run by an EU-banned terrorist organization, Hamas, in alliance with Islamic Jihad, basically launching hundreds and even thousands of missile attacks on civilian areas in Israel, which is a war crime.
But MEPs did agree that peace talks are the only way to resolve the conflict. Fighting continues in East Ukraine. Despite no official declaration of war, hundreds have been killed and injured. The EU says Russia is backing military offences by the pro-Russian forces.
Russia has not stopped the flow of weapons, equipment and militants across the border. Nor has it used its influence over illegally armed groups in eastern Ukraine to stop the violence and get them to lay down their arms.
MEPs debated the situation in plenary. They also talked about developments of the EU-Ukraine agreement. Some MEPs have called for sanctions against Russia.
We need consequent action towards Russia. If Russia does not de-escalate or fulfil the requirements which we put on the table, Council decision on further third-stage sanctions should be put into motion in sectors like defence, banking and energy.
Iraq is also in the depths of its own severe and bloody crisis. Sunni Muslim rebels, spearheaded by ISIS, an Islamic extremist group, risk overthrowing the Shia Muslim-led government. MEPs in Strasbourg debated the right EU response. Many called for a political solution, avoiding military intervention.
Nous devons certes apporter notre soutien humanitaire et financier à l'Irak. Mais il faut aussi avoir du courage politique et il faut une politique diplomatique de la part de l'Union européenne qui soit claire et nette.
It's feared the crisis could further destabilise an already desperate Iraq.